Hi, my name is Noshad, some of you guys know me as Shubham. Spurs Video Podcast. I'm going to talk about the Bolton game. Try and touch a little bit more on is it Roy Hodgson appointing a manager and how that affects us. Obviously, the Bolton game, they're fighting for their lives. They're on 34 points. I don't know who their other games are against. I think they also have a game in hand. So they, I think, have to re-scrap this. So I think they have to come out and be positive. We have a terrible record against Bolton. Last season, after the Inter Milan game, first people forget, A, it was an error by Sandro, but B, Kevin Davies was actually offside when the ball's played to him. But again, the linesman fucked up and didn't see it. We went down, obviously went down to 4-1, but linesman, fucking us over. Nothing new there, I guess. Apart from Saturday when they actually clearly, counted that Van der Vaart goal. I'm gonna be, to be honest, it's gonna be a tough game. Bolton are not an easy tie, but in a weird way, and it's obviously our second game. We've got another game coming against Aston Villa, but I don't really consider the game we play against Blackburn a game, unless you count that crying guy. I don't know. There's a link. I'll post it to you. It's some guy crying on the Alan Green show apparently about Blackburn, and apparently he had a steak bake of Steve Keane apparently. But no, they were bloody awful, and I stand by it. Yes, Sandro looked good, but you know what, Sandro, you put a 5-year-old in there, he'd look good against that, that midfield. Blackburn were I think I've seen a team that poor at the Lane ever. Honestly, I don't think I've seen a team that be that poor before. And we thumped teams, but Blackburn, they're already on their holidays. I think they know they're relegated, and a lot of those players, like Hoyle, I think he's gone, and Cooper probably will go somewhere. I don't know where Dunn will go, but do you know what I mean? There's a lot of players that, they just aren't there. They've just given up the fight, I think. Bolton, there's one thing they won't get the fight. Obviously with Mwamba there, they'll be really inspired. But I think Harry will hopefully be inspired as well. Harry will say that they'll be really up for it. You have to be up for it. If you're not, we're going to get slaughtered. And everything we did on Saturday will be for nothing. Or start on to that effect. I personally would drop Bale. I know this sounds really, sounds radical, but you know what? And I've been chastised for saying, I think, Roy should take Lampard in the England squad. But honestly, Bale has been acting like a big time Charlie, and if he wants out, fuck him. You want out? Okay then. We can drop you from the team if we need to. Because I'm tired of his big time Charlie attitude. And I'd put Diego dos Santos there. People have been screaming at him for a chance. We'll give him the starting berth. He tracked back. I swear to God, I was well surprised. I'm like, is that dos Santos tracking back? He's an inverse winger, but I don't know how on earth he obviously knows how to play the inverse winger. Put him on the left flank. He's tricky. He's quick. Who knows? He might prove us all wrong. I'd like to see it. I'd like to be proven wrong, and him to play an amazing game for us on the left hand side. I hope Daniel Rose can pick up his game. Obviously, he hasn't played for a while, but he had loads of time, and I don't know, he had too much time. A lot of our players did. Walker hit a sweet free kick. He's never going to hit another one of those again for the rest of his life. You just know that'll happen. But it's like the way JJ scored against United, I think, all those years ago. He scored an equaliser, and then he took loads of free kicks and never scored again or something. I think it's the same thing, really. But I think, keep the same team. I know Parker's out. I still would say Sandro, and I'd play a 4-3, 4-1, 4-1, 4-4-1. The 4-4-1, that's just 13 players. 4-4-1-1. But really try and get as much support as we can to Van der Vaart, to Adebayor, and really get Lennon really pushing in and get and Dos Santos as a inside wing forward. He'll want to play. He'll want to join up and link in with the play with, say, Adebayor, and he'll offer an outlet. And I really, for today, I know it sounds really. People say, "Oh, you're crazy," but you know what? Bale has been playing really poorly, and sometimes you need to drop a player, to really shake him up. And then, do you know what? If it's not working out, okay then. 60 minutes, bring on Bale. Show us what you can do. Show us what we've been missing. And I think he'll have a bee in his bonnet. There are some players that they're either, well, I wouldn't say Gino was a big time Charlie, but he had a bee in his bonnet about being dropped from the France World Cup side, and he had a real point to prove. And there are some players who play more. I'm not saying Bale's like that, but if that's what we need him to do, he'll go out there like a man possessed and really play, and he'll play on the left because he saw someone else take his spot. And I'm like, no, that's my spot. I play on the left. That's just my thoughts on it. I'm sure Kev and Major Hank and Triple KL and Super Spurs, he's a new guy, and I don't know what Fox knows. He's a new guy on Spurs Forum, so I think, or Jez or Eggsy or any of the guys that like my YouTube videos. Shouts outs. I'll give one to Craigie Boy. I think he's a Southampton fan. I know he lives on the south coast in Bournemouth, so that's not too far from Southampton, I think. So they came up last week, so he was pretty happy. So I'm going to shout out to him. Top Spurs, always give them a shout out. They're a great site, and as always, going to be saying, come on, you Spurs. As always, Coys.